Well, welcome back.
Hi there.
Sorry for dropping in. Or rather, thank you for dropping in. And I hope you stay as well. It's cozy, it's warm. I'm actually freezing cold. And we're gonna have Blank Esports taking on Fireball now. So if you are feeling chilly, come over to our great balls of fire. And we will take a look at these two teams now. Starting it off with Blank. Certainly the team expected to win this one, but with recent performances, a lot of questions are actually being raised, as crazy as that is to say.
Yeah, a lot of concerned Blank fans out there. Well, at least today, I think you'd have your hopes alleviated just a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
at least today.
If they lose to Fireball, then like, we will look at this and go, they've had a downward spiral. Apparently this is Blank HQ Esports Club. But in any case, let's go ahead and meet Fireball.
Like Trill knows.
The Thai squad that are having some mixed results, but man, they are always a joy to watch.
They have had more and more improving results, I'd say. I think I'd be really interested to see how they go up against Hong Kong Attitude and also Machik. And also, I think the other hype match that we're talking about is how Detonator going to play against Fireball later on in the tournament.
Yeah, I think the real question, though, is what are they going to do this time on the face cams?
I'm going to have a few words from the captains or the coaches. First from Serenity.
就是在他们那个介绍影片的时候，也有选手是做这种姿势，然后我自己也是做这种姿势，所以等一下跟选手再各自再比一次吧。
All right, he's gonna do the next slice for real against Fireball.
OK， 好，那想要问一下 Fireball 这边的 Carlos 有什么回应呢
？I got you in my side.
Carlos has got you in his sights.
看起来两队火药味相当的浓厚，但是还是要先握手一下。
Right. Very serious thoughts from two very serious captains and coaches. Very cordial handshake though. It's all in good sports. And well, like I said, I'm curious to see what gag they're going to do this time. Fireball, they seem to have something new each week.
It's like disappointing if they don't do one now.
Yeah,
that's the precedent that's been set.
If they did nothing, I would actually be really annoyed.
Just a note real quick though, for Fireball in particular, Zalfix is the captain and Zin LOL is actually the coach. So sometimes a different member comes on to sort of do the opening
memes.
Meme or pre-match sort of handshake sort of message out there. So yeah, Serenity is usually the one that does it for Blank, but every other team has their own member that maybe does or doesn't.
Though with that, it's for language reasons, to be honest. I mean,
I'd say it's probably for both, but makes it kind and necessary for Serenity.
I want to see RQT get up and speak some Chinese, so you know,
maybe one day.
Serenity has been teaching him.
You got to write to Jeff Kaplan.
Only
make
the
it
bad
happen.
words first. No, but yeah, it's gonna be Fireball as the home team, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
If Serenity has taught RQT...
It's actually Blank.
It's actually Blank is the home team.
Blank is the home team.
If Serenity has taught RQT any Mandarin, it's probably his McDonald's order. They've all learned their McDonald's orders.
Hey, I thought they stopped doing that now. Serenity has gone to great lengths.
He's laid down the law.
Has gone to great lengths to convince everyone, hey, we've stopped doing that. It's now back to home cooked meals that I make myself that the Blank members do not wake up in time for to eat. So that is currently where Blank sit on the dietary status.
Well, there you go. Okay, there is actually a legitimate thing at play here, and that actually that is something that's quite important for teams. Like we know this in general, you know, healthy mind, healthy body, yada yada yada. But the thing that's actually kind of good to note about Blank there is, of course, they have had to have quite a big shift, more so than a lot of these other teams. Completely foreign-speaking country. I mean, that is still a significant shift for Sun Sister and Detonator, and also for Fireball. Less so for a lot of these other teams, but there's a lot of culture shock that goes into that. There's the language barriers. There's a big precedent being set, and you know, being really one of the first Australian teams to get into a tournament like this. Well, not one of the first Australian team. That's a significant thing, and the adjustments seem to have been coming through. They actually seem to be handling that side of things really, really well. So what that does say is the issues in their games is just them as a team and things going wrong. Let's take a look at the Blank lineup, and we will also get to see the more detailed breakdown of who they are and what they play, but that is it if you are unfamiliar.
And also, Blank, you know, just sort of on that topic as well, 7 weeks they've been here now. In their last interview, they said, look, we're pretty well adjusted. And I'll be honest, Fireball in a similar boat. They're in a foreign country too. Look, they're from Thailand. This is Taiwan. You don't speak the same language. You don't really know anybody here. You don't have a coach that's native to the country like you do if you're Blank.
Exactly. And I mean, as much as you can argue the culture shock isn't as severe, it is still very much a factor. And it's one of those interesting things that is a factor for half of these teams and not for the other half. Like, even Hong Kong Attitude are predominantly from Taiwan themselves.
But even the one Hong Kong member, he does speak the language and it's fine for him.
Exactly. So it's actually been interesting to see all of the teams actually kind of handle that adjustment fairly well, because I think some of us at the top of this tournament expected that that may be an issue. I think we expected it specifically.
It would be a hurdle.
Yeah, I think we expected it a little bit more for Blank because they had such good results. But like I said, the shift in that hasn't been based on that. It has actually just been on the gameplay itself.
So last time Blank were on this screen here, they were actually pulling some kind of gags just to emulate a little bit of the Fireball fun that we've seen. But what we've seen so far is that little heart that came out. So I think they're looking more serious today.
They're looking happier anyway.
Not that they're not going to be having
relaxed.
fun, but they are looking more intent on the game. They're smiling though. That's another big thing. But of course, a team that is always also smiling is of course Fireball. We'll see them in a second.
I'm just glad Blank, they got the smiles out and not the blank face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly Blank, like we said, you don't want to be losing this one. You don't want to be losing here against Fireball if you can so help it. But yeah, Fireball, man, they never fail to smile.
Zalfix knows something's coming up.
I want to know what Zalfix knows.
Actually, the interesting here is I've got a little bit of inside info, which is Team Thailand for the World Cup has been trialing, have started their trials, they've streamed a bit of it. Apudo, NZNR, and Rocket have been in those trials. So 3 members from Fireball you could see on the Thai national team for the World Cup, which will be really interesting, and I'll be looking forward to that.
And the other 3 are just like left out in the cold.
I don't know. Maybe the other 3 have also trialed, but I don't know. I just haven't seen them personally. This is just anecdotally what I have seen.
I'd be surprised if they haven't trialed. But in any case, that is a separate thing. Here we go. We're approaching Apudo. What's the gag going to be? Transcendence. That's nice. I love it. I love it. Very well coordinated. Do they practice these?
You'd have to. The coach even gets into it too.
Something new every day. I love this team.
I am now interested in joining the Iris.
That's how they convert you.
Would you like to learn more about Tranquility?
Yeah, you've experienced Tranquility. You know what it's like now. And Kurlos says, hi.
I was one of the arms.
Yeah. What do you even do to follow that up, eh? Just like, hey guys. Yeah, well, in any case, that is the full rundown of Fireball. Like we said, we'd be disappointed if they didn't do anything, but like they up their game each time. By the time we reach the final week, they're going to be doing like a full-on dance routine.
I was actually thinking
they're going to be a bicycle out in the front, and someone will do the wheel.
I was actually just fully considering like there's no way they can top the tactical visor. So I was getting ready to be a little bit let down, but not be too worried about it. But they did it. They pulled it out.
Yeah, you were sufficiently whelmed.
I was.
Yeah, Blanca going to pull out the first pick though, and it is going to be Lijiang Tower.
Cool.
And they're not going to take it to Ilios. They're not going to do any of that. The last time we did see them playing against Fireball, look, Blank were the ones pulling out the Fireball maps, and Eichenwald was the key map that Blank pulled out. Yeah. So this time we swapped around home and away, which means Lijiang Tower going to be the pick.
The old Blankaroo.
Yes,
expected.
Something
deep insight we're bringing here.
Something they only really do against Fireball, but going back to standard, going back to Lijiang Tower.
They almost out-meme them.
There's no out-meming those guys.
You're right, actually.
So, going back to Lijiang Tower, I kind of like it because everyone's already seen a ton of Blank on Lijiang Tower anyway because it's the most popular control map, so it's not like you're risking leaking any information or how you play on that map. Everyone already knows. And you know that you are the team that's pretty expected to win. You're very unlikely to drop the game here, so just sticking to something that everyone already knows, and also you're just consistent on, Fireball don't have too much of a chance of actually upsetting you there.
And we actually kind of talked about that
AHQ?
In relation to AHQ, yeah, exactly. This idea of kind of hiding maps if you can so help it. Look, maybe Blank do have like an Ilios or something that they'll want to pull out come playoffs, and maybe they can play it and beat Fireball on it, but you want to just hold that in the back pocket. But now you don't want to give any more information if you can. You're going to stick to your Lijiang Towers. You're going to stick to your King's Rows, maybe your Nambani's, right? But you're going to stick to the stock standards.
The thing for Blank now in this tournament is after getting past AHQ and Flash was not in the way they wanted to, but those games are done. They're in for the part of the round robin and the third round robin where the other 5 games should be expected results for Blank. And so they're going to have to use the rest of this round robin time to kind of, I would say, prep for round robin 4 where they are going to have to face AHQ and then also fight Flash Wolves again. And then the one last team they may need to look out for this round robin is going to be Machi. So still, this needs to be time that Blank needs to use to assess where their current standings are and look really good.
Yeah, you don't want to come up against Machi and be taken by surprise. And funny, that's not a matchup we would have felt there were many questions about. Maybe there are more questions for Machi, but certainly that's one both teams will be looking toward on the horizon. That is what Blank will be trying to use these kinds of games for, to brush up on any mistakes as well. And of course, as well, just take the wins while they can.
Trill already really low. This is an issue.
This is actually has been what has plagued them against every other team. They did actually get the trade off onto Kurlos and have now picked out a Pudo as well, so they should be in good stead as they get themselves set up on the point, but still losing Trill is always scary. Actually lose EU up, but they do once again get the trade back. They're getting trades, which is what is not happening in the other games where they're losing Trill at the top of fights, but this is actually Blank making some similar mistakes to what has caused them losses.
Well, actually, the fight continues. Trill's already back in there. It came down to RQT getting a couple of those trades and just finishing off the kills. There's got to be a stick coming out from NZNR, so NZNR has been doing a decent job.
Yes, he's taking out the carry in RQT as well, but now EduUp is going to clean this one out. And I mean, even though Fireball were kind of well ticked up on the point, even with Trill getting picked off as well, all the trades were actually coming through in favor of Blank the whole way through that. This is maybe taking a little bit longer than expected, and actually ends it in it's kind of drawing it out. Yeah, very, very big delay, but this should be in Blank's favor still, and this will probably just give a lot of ultimate charge over. Trill needs to be careful to not go down again. No one's kept still just because of how protracted this has become. Sound barrier for Blank to try and secure it, but again, the carry in RQT gets taken out by Ninth, who does not get back into the mech, and now Blank with this Dragon Blade out from ATAR are looking to secure this one if they can so help it. Pudo goes charging in. They've got the Transcendence there out of Gunba though, and now all 6 members here ready to fight, ready to at long last repel Fireball with any luck and actually secure the point, or not, or Kolos gets the Transcendence and we keep going.
Well, both of the Traces actually went down to both of Winston's Primal Rage there, so this has been the longest opening skirmish I have seen so far in the tournament. I mean, there's a lot of firsts that I've seen so far today.
Now Blank failing to close out has actually given Fireball an opportunity in this one. ATAR is now the one in trouble where a moment ago it was Pudo. There we go, the cap, and it goes through to Fireball because Blank actually had to back away with that sound barrier and self-destruct there for Fireball. And now they're actually getting picked off as well. This is really, really unfortunate and actually very poorly played. There were many opportunities for Blank to close that fight out.
Somebody had to make the decision. Somebody at any point had to decide, look, we're not going to win this one anymore. It had to be Blank to unfortunately bite the bullet and say it's not going to be us. We're not going to be the ones to get the first cap, but we will be the ones to now come back, hopefully with a bit of strength.
Yeah, looking to get right back on that horse. Trill, oh, he went down right at the top of the ultimate as well. It was very, very unfortunate. This time, though, Blank do have a good amount of pressure down. EduUp staying safe on this one. That's going to be the sound barrier as well for Blank to help them secure this fight. Yeah, and that's just, actually, doesn't get much with the sticky bomb itself and ATAR cleaning it up. I don't know if they needed to use that pulse bomb there, but they do get the cap through, and that's really what counts.
I probably agree with you on that one. Could have probably have saved it. Even ins and out at the end here, just getting a final bit of delay, getting up to 49%. I can kind of agree with that. 150 HP for a little bit of extra cap might just be what Fireball need, but they are sitting in a decent spot. Both Dragon Blades ready for both teams, and it will be, I would say, a contest fully out of Fireball here. They've got a lot of lights up.
Pudo straight in through the window. There's the Transcendence out of Kurlos as well to keep him alive while he tries to wreak havoc, but actually not finding much here. Gunba as well. How is it always Trill, man? This is just as reliable as a Ting being first to die. ATAR gets one back with the Dragon Blade, but it's all coming up Fireball for this one, and they absolutely steamroll Blank.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait for Hong Kong Attitude versus Blank because both Winstons might just take a dive off the map right at the start.
Yeah, that's gentleman's agreement. They fight each other on the way down, and they both still die to each other. Like,
oh boy. I'll tell you what, Fireball now looking at 60%. They got a decent lead. This is probably the best lead. I can't say that as a fact, but it feels like the best lead they've had against Blank kind of in forever. I mean, this is a great start for them, and it does look like they are able to continue it so far. Blank looking for an entry here. AVRL onto the Pharah as well, so they're changing up their composition as well. Fireball aren't. They're feeling comfortable.
Yeah, they do get a pick with it as well, and actually zoned Fireball off the point. That was very smart. They used the self-destruct to force them into the open where the Pharah could wreak havoc. That's the sound barrier committed from RQT as well. They really do need to start securing out the kills, desperately trying to find Rocket. There's Eat You Up going down to NZNR. Great sticky from him, and Blank are actually kind of struggling here. Yeah, Fireball are really keeping this one on lockdown, and now Blank are forced onto it to contest. That is bad territory for AVRL, and Gunba gets dragged into it too. RQT getting picked out. NZNR keeping this on lockdown. Fireball, they look set to take this map off.
I don't believe this. This is crazy out of Fireball, and I mean, they've been practicing Transcendence as a team, and that's not the only thing they've been practicing, because a 99 overtime this early, plus kills still coming in. Not even a res out of Gunba. He's waiting for it. He's very close. He dies! What?
Oh, that would have been all they would have needed to actually flip that one back around.
And Curlis is feeling it on the end there. You can see it. New jackets. It's a new Fireball, but unfortunately, same old Blank.
Same old Blank making the same old mistakes that they have now made for 2 round robins, and the mistakes have only got worse. Everyone's figured them out. They haven't fixed what has been going wrong. I mean, look, this is only one map of one game of this entire best of 5
setting
series.
A precedent,
but that is set, yeah, exactly, a terrifying precedent. A precedent that, dare I say it, suggests that Blank are in a downward spiral.
And I'll tell you the other thing that's really crazy is the bastion of hope for Blank, which is IU up on the Tracer. This guy can always pull something up. This guy can always carry the team. He's losing duels to NZNR. What is going on here? That is not expected.
Yeah. Consistently losing them too. It's actually now going to be coming out the gate on this area. I'm really happy to see this actually. So this is something Blank was really good at, is juggling this this Zarya Reinhardt combo, specifically on control center. Yeah, triple tank. They would get the first skirmish and go with that aggressive defense. They picked Kurlos. That already puts them in good stead for when the point unlocks, looking to commit to this fight around the sides if they can. Blank are the ones kind of in command of it.
Well, Fireball aren't backing out just there. They're going to look for some sort of entry, and they're definitely not going to let the cap go over either. Maybe Apuda can get something started. He's in a little bit of trouble. NZNR going down.
Tanks were already too low. I was surprised it was NZNR that went down, given how low 9th and Rocket both were, but I suppose that's the thing. Because 9th and Rocket backed off, it did leave the DPS exposed, and Apuda is the only one who really gets away with his life. Now here we'll see it. Yeah, this is the aggressive defense from Blank, and actually getting a couple of extra kills on the side really, really helps them. They don't quite have the Graviton or the Earth Shatter to do it, but this is the plan, that you catch them up in this door.
Well, they're getting close. Eat-Up's already on about 79. Trill's a little bit further away. So, I mean, this is going to be hopefully a spawn cap.
Get to the point. Get to the point. Someone stop him. AVRL does finally come back.
He stole my handbag.
Yeah. Someone stop that, man. Someone stop that Tracer. Well, look, NZNR, they haven't actually killed him just yet. They've committed a sound barrier, but Apuda opening up with his Dragon Blade. He only finds one. Does actually have to back off because he gets a bit too low. It was a decent opening actually out of Fireball. I don't think Blank really respected NZNR. They're like, oh, someone will deal with it. Oh, wait a minute. We all have to go and deal with it.
This is the other thing
now they're cleaning it up, and they are in a position to actually pull off this defense they were looking to do before.
I'm pretty sure NZNR had his pulse bomb eaten by Kiki as well in the middle of that, because I saw him use it. It didn't look like it did anything. I didn't hear the sound effects, so Kiki, he eliminated it.
Smite's nodding at me, so I think you're right. I think that's what happened. That's actually very significant there, and really helped them actually deal with NZNR, even though they weren't really killing him. And they actually got quite close to capping it.
Speaking of being eaten.
So massive. Who eats who up, I say. And now they've really only got this Earth Shatter if they want to try and use it. They're going to have to try and back up and defend at the point instead. Kiki getting very, very low. That's the Transcendence out from Kurlos. Kiki barely staying alive out of this mech. Now looking to go down. Eat You Up gets picked as well, and this is all looking good for Fireball. AVRL going to open up with the Dragon Blade though to try and spin it back around, turn it around for his team. Very healthy here. Gets a mech as well. That's the sound barrier to come out of RQT that do have enough to keep this one alive. Look very good for Fireball for a moment there, but Blank do keep their cool, do strike back. And the overtime looks set to tick down. Blank looking much more themselves, picking up this very important map win.
Absolutely, and AVRL right at the end there on a huge killing spree. Fireball fell apart. I mean, they had a couple of good plays there, but as soon as they got locked up in their spawn, they struggled to get themselves back out there. Inzidana did a great flank. He forced a bit of a retreat from Blank, but even then, Fireball, with the extra space given to them, couldn't secure a fight that they were really wanting. And right at the end there, I mean, AVRL sort of just blew the door right open.
Yeah, really, really did. I mean, good secure. And like I said, good confidence to commit there actually when they had lost a couple of members, felt he was in the right position to do so. Had the sound barrier as well out of RQT, so he had a bit of safety. But really, it was just well executed. The only thing is, Fireball did still win that first map, and this isn't the first time we've seen the other team win something and Blank look terrible, and then they kind of steady their stride and come back. So they're not out of the woods yet.
If people remember, their first game against Detonator on Oasis went to a full 5 series, so it's not impossible to take.
Okay, that was ancient history. We've even said it's very hard to draw conclusive things from that, but I suppose you're not completely
It's in
wrong.
the history books. It's not it's inconclusive, but at the same time it happened. I'm not going to say it's going to be evidence, but here we go. We're going to start things off.
Yeah, it's nice not seeing Trill die first, and they do pick off Kurlos once again, getting the pressure on Apudo as well. And now they're unfortunately losing Gunber, but they do look good enough to hold this one. Actually, E2Up getting picked off. All the members of Fireball are low enough that they have to kind of be forced back here, so Blank should be able to get themselves on this point as long as they don't really mess up this commitment. But actually, Fireball back off, and they're looking to go back in on this one. Now, there we go. Blank do pick up the kills at the last minute there.
Yeah, Blank able to secure that one. I'll get the first cap again, and so far when Blank do get the first cap, I mean, sample size of 3 here, but Blank getting the first cap does put them decently in the lead. In Fireball, they struggle to come back from a bit of a deficit, and that's something Fireball are going to look for, because Apudo now going on to the Soldier. He wants to directly counter AVRL out. He didn't have this problem on Gardens. He's thinking, I am having this problem now.
Yeah, well, here we go. There's the sticky. Goes wide. Doesn't quite catch anything, unfortunately. Kiki in a bit of trouble, though. Does just barely keep the mech, but now Trill's getting beaten down as well. They do once again pick Kurlos, though, so again in good stead as they find Zalfix as well. With the healers out, they have... Oh, that's a good block up of the Rocket Barrage, but it's already found NZ and R, unfortunately. So Fireball do kind of lose their opportunity to take this fight. And Blank actually have a really solid ult economy going here.
Exactly, and as for Fireball as well, they're using ultimates, they're changing heroes. This is resetting their economy in a really big way, so they're unable to get themselves ahead. Even if they do get a good fight here, they have to prevent the res, or at least play around the res. So it is very difficult waters for Fireball to try and tread through. And Blank, I mean, they set up a little bit of a bastion here, and I think they're going to hold.
Yeah, they're certainly looking fit to. Certainly looking fit to get another 100-0. It's like they sort of, after the first round, like, turned to Trill and they're like, Trill, we agreed to not do that whole dying thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. And now they're looking I'd say a little bit better. They're looking a lot better.
Kurlos again.
Good sound barrier shores them up as they pick Kurlos on the top of the fight, closes out on NZ&R, and already this is coming up Blank.
And this is the thing, Blank is so good currently at dismantling Fireball's support backline. There has been no fight where Fireball have supports alive to keep them through this, and it's a real problem. These fights always go 6v5, 6v4 immediately out the gate.
It's interesting, you know, if the way to counter some of these other teams is to dive onto the DPS, the way to counter out a Fireball isn't actually to go for Apudo first, it's to kill his supports. You know, it's to stop him from getting any kind of follow-up. They do actually sneak out the point here. Hello, what happened there?
Pulse Bomb gone?
Yeah, Pulse Bomb eaten, and actually now Blank should be able to attack onto this. Sound barrier out, Bazalx is nice. Looks cute, at least, and pretty colors, but these are Blank's kills to take. Yeah, both supports out of the picture once again. Knight that's going to possibly throw out the self-destruct. Actually, I don't even think he got it out in time. Rocket will have an ultimate to commit as well to try and buy time, but Blank are looking fairly fine here, and especially if they don't lose Gunber, they should be able to win this fight without too much of an effort. AVRL, ooh, that was a little dicey. Maybe didn't get as much as he wanted. Gunber committed the res as well, so AVRL not going to come back to that one. This isn't as clean as I was maybe expecting, actually, but Rocket off the edge means no ult to come out for him, and now the sound barrier for Blank is going to be that last thing to get them over the line.
Should absolutely secure it with only 3 members alive. Now it's to, you're right, 99 to 30-something percent. The final 36. Bit of, I guess, attempt at getting back in here by NZ&R should be fairly short-lived. Fireball are just barely clinging on to this, but with no win condition, there's no way they can actually out-damage Blank, and that's going to be the issue. And
I'm going to be honest, they only got this point because they kind of snuck it out from under Blank's nose, and they nearly did the same thing on Command Center as well. So it's kind of, I'm not even going to call it Blank's mistake because it does seem to be this weird little last-ditch strategy that Fireball pull out. And actually, in so doing, they put themselves in these scattered, like, 5 versus 6 situations while one person's off sneaking the point. I mean, it's not reliable. It's a little bit gimmicky.
It is a little bit gimmicky. Fireball kind of need everything they can get because after a pretty good, if not hard-fought victory on Gardens, well, I mean, these last 2 maps on Lijiang definitely have been fully in Blank's control, and this is Blank figuring out the formula to Fireball. Essentially, eliminating the support structure on Fireball's backline has been their bane, and if Blank can continue doing that, I don't see Fireball coming back.
Yeah, I will say once again, not out of the woods yet. It's a shame almost we're not going on to Gardens, because if you're Blank, you would kind of want to get a shutout win on Gardens here for your final one, just to, you know, prove that that first one was a mistake, just something went wrong and it's not going to happen again. But it is going to be Control Center.
A few things are going wrong for Fireball so far. Early sleep, I don't see who they got hit on. But it is aggressive positioning out of Fireball here. Oputo's got to be careful as well not to lose his positioning on the high
Kiki really trying to force him out so that Blank can get some space to play with, but they're not quite finding it, actually getting beaten back here. They do need to retreat. They do pick Rocket though, which is quite nice for them as they lose ATAR. They've still got the tanks to kind of keep this one going. Gunba doing a great job of keeping everyone topped off. They don't quite have the positional advantage, but they haven't actually been forced back as hard as you would expect given Fireball's positioning. Once again now, Kiki up onto the high ground to contest Oputo as they bring ATAR back into the fold. Unfortunately, Kiki loses the mech. They need to get some trades back now.
Tech Visor coming up for Oputo as well. Looks to use it. There it is. Where are the targets? Gets one right up the middle.
They're everywhere. Target-rich environment indeed. They commit the Transcendence as well, and Blanket absolutely steamrolled. They held on for an adequately long amount of time, but weren't actually able to get the kills through there.
The Fireball, it was a good amount of patience, and Kiki kind of flew in and out, just sort of keeping tabs on Oputo, but never successfully off-putting Oputo, never successfully displacing him, and that came out to be a mistake. Eventually, he lost his mech to Oputo, and then after that, well, you don't have a Matrix, cool, I'm going to attack Visor and pick up everybody.
Yeah, everybody indeed. I wouldn't be surprised if that was play of the game, even though Blank may still win. And that's still a May. Actually, wow, they get pushed well off here, Fireball. And that's a Graviton out of Eat You Up as well. So Fireball kind of loses the opportunity to really push into this. They lose Eat You Up, though. That is a nice self-destruct, well placed. Kind of forces Blank into an awkward spot now as ATAR is in full retreat. Will be able to get out of this one alive. Blank had good pressure here, but they have got pushed back. Now they're committing the Nano Blade combo. Gets Kurlos off the top of it, and Zelk once again. Both the healers, great target selection. 3 there. Now, Trill unfortunately did go down, but Rocket is only keeping this one alive with his ultimate. He was actually in dire straits for a moment there himself. Oputo has a tactical visor, smartly holds onto it, and Blank will be able to secure this.
Yeah, it's going to be Fireball onto the retreat here. A good Dragon Blade being used by ATAR does secure it, and this is kind of what's been happening for ATAR quite a bit, specifically on Lijiang. He is able to just get these massive wins out of there. Blank with patience to be able to wait to come in and find the right moment to attack again. Yeah,
looking to try and get this aggressive defense, but they don't quite have the resources for it. And NZNR is again going for the sneaky back cap. But again, this actually just puts his own team into a 5 versus 6. And now they wheel back to deal with NZNR, having already pushed 9th out of the mech. He's now stuck off to the side. If they kill him, that would be a huge punish. And it's given them time to get their ultimates back up.
Watch the Shadow, because I think that's going to be the next one coming out.
Great sticky to Gunba, but he died to it himself.
Still watching out to see what Trill's going to be doing here. Here comes the Sound Barrier and the Dragon Blade.
That's the Transcendence wants round 2. Yeah, Kurlos committing his defensive ultimate. ATAR, he loses round 2. Oputo picking that one up, but Blanka's still the ones in command of the point here. Fireball actually haven't really got a good chance to commit to it. They do still have the tanks here, but without the healers, they don't seem to want to commit Oputo with that tactical visor. So Blank gain themselves an opportunity to properly regroup.
And Fireball haven't actually taken position here yet. Look, the cap is still in Blank's favor, and Fireball taking all of these fights off cap, and while they're doing that, Blank are happy to collect points.
Oh, that is a huge Graviton, catches so many members, and the Earth Shatter as well. That's going to be the clean up. No further ultimates required. They didn't actually want to do it with the self-destruct. They don't want to take a leaf out of Machi's book, and now again, wanting to maybe set up this aggressive defense. I don't think they should because they don't have the Graviton
to be honest,
Sound Barrier, but secured.
I think they should have committed the self-destruct into that and not the Earth Shatter, because self-destruct is usually more difficult to get dividends out of. An Earth Shatter, specifically playing against the Winston, is a lot more reliable unplayable for Trill, so maybe the wrong decision there. It does get them the full cap out, the full wipe out anyway,
wow.
and they're going to continue.
They're getting trickle kills. That was Rocket with the ultimate used as well. They picked Kurlos just before that. Now they've got 9th. Fireball looks scattered, and Blank take full advantage. Pick 9th as well now. It's funny how that kill feed comes up. If you die while getting back in the mech, you die and then the mech dies. But in any case, someone, it's NZNR, unsurprisingly, was able to step on the point to create an overtime. That is another Graviton out of Eat You Up. Good attempts to try and fight back out of that one, but yeah, that is going to be the secure for Blank. And case of straighten up and fly right, to be sure. Bit of a stumble in that first one, but they looked very much on form beyond that.
And there it is. This could be the play of the game that you were talking about. It's going to be a different one, actually. This is, by the way, just going back to Gardens, let's talk about that first engagement that sort of just went on forever. Look, I've seen overtimes that go on for roughly that amount of time, but certainly a first skirmish is a little bit unheard of.
Yeah, and of course, came up Fireball in the end as well. It was a bit... I don't know, I feel like there were opportunities for Blank to close it out and they just didn't get the frags.
The thing is though, on the other side of that, Fireball, they were sitting in a position where they had to make the call themselves, because at their worst part on that, where they literally only had a Lucio just wall riding around the middle of the pillar on the point, keeping it alive for them, keeping it contested, someone on Fireball had to make the call to say, look, we can actually go back in. We don't want to just regroup and try and take the point off of Blank because we had an even fight. We want to just go back and contest it. So they had a down-to-the-wire, tough decision to make, and they called it, and from the results, they called it right.
Yeah, that's actually completely fair. But like I said, after that first one, Blank did seem to return to form. And not just like they were able to pick up the wins, they returned to form. They are looking more like the Blank that had an undefeated run in the first round robin. They're not all the way there, and I mean, the real test will actually come when they play a lot of the other teams. It's not really going to be against Fireball, but they are certainly looking more like themselves.
On Control Center, I think Fireball had a lot of opportunities there. They had a lot of fights that they still won, a lot of good pickouts, but Night Market, that was a bit of a blow. Now, that is Fireball looking their worst on Lijiang, and Blank arguably looking their best, because consistently taking out the support structure straight away. Kurlos being the primary target, the single target going down first. Zelfix to follow up with his death as well very shortly after that. So at no point for Fireball did I believe they realistically had supports to go in. It felt like a 4v6 for the majority of the game.
And this is actually something I brought up about both the Japanese teams, specifically Sun Sister when they were playing, but I think it actually also applies to Fireball as well. Kurlos, his name stays in my mind, not just for his amazing on-camera performances before the matches, but also it's on the kill feed before a lot of the fights, and not in a good way. He does get picked off quite a lot, and that's not just tonight. This isn't really a unique thing. It's quite often, especially if he's on Zenyatta, where it's a little bit trickier to defend yourself. You don't have the grenade, you don't have the sleep dart. So when he's on Zenyatta, he seems to be really easy pickings for not just Blank, but a lot of other teams as well.
I've got to say, though, a part of that does actually come down to his own team perhaps not adequately defending him. Because, like you said, on that Zenyatta, you don't have a lot of those tools for yourself. You do actually get a little bit of extra damage that some of the other supports don't get, but that's not reliable. And when you've got a Tracer and a Genji trying to deal with you, what you need is a tank or someone helping protect you, or your DPS turning around and firing some shots the way of whoever's diving you. So it's not just on the support themselves. A lot of that is actually down to the team coordination. But you also have to make a point to not be in a bad position in the first place. It's kind of a bit of both right now is what seems to be happening.
It does also look like Fireball perhaps need to take a step backwards and more of a Flash Wolves approach. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the interview with Realmint, but essentially he says, look, if they're going to dive into us, we're going to play a little bit more patiently, take out the divers and protect our backline. And there wasn't a case where Blank successfully dived and killed the backline specifically. The supports, Realmint himself said, look, I can defend against Eat You Up's Tracer by myself. That's a big statement. But I think it was true also because that just happened.
Pretty much. Well, we're going to be going now onto Hybrid. Is there anything in particular we think Fireball are going to pick here?
Eichenwald? No. Well, yes and no, because they've already tried. Well, they didn't try it. Blank did it for them.
Yeah, Blank tried it against Fireball, and it was odd.
It wasn't odd. It was odd, and it also wasn't.
Blank won.
What they won, and they won in a really big way, except for that first cap.
Exactly.
First cap aside, Fireball. Maybe you can give them. Maybe you can say, look, they're just really good on the first cap. That's not going to get you a win though. Because it's first cap attack. It's not even first cap defense. Because you're not going to full hold them. You're just gonna be able to cap them through, but then you're going to fail to get the full cap out on the map anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a completely fair point. So I guess the question is, where do you go? I mean, you certainly can't take them to Numbani still. If you're like AHQ or Flash Rules, then maybe you would, but this is Fireball. As far as Fireball is concerned,
I don't know. Detonator had an interesting run in Numbani. Don't know about that.
Well,
they did.
Ancient history, man. Ancient history.
No, it's not. This was recently.
This is the most recent match.
Actually, no, you're completely right. You are completely right.
They almost full held Blank on the first point on Numbani, which was a bit of a wild ride watching that match. But in any case, I think for Fireball's sake, I don't think Numbani is really on the table for them to pick.
Hollywood?
Eichenwald, no. And also Hollywood, I'm going to take out of the picture too.
Just don't pick anything.
Oh,
don't pick anything.
We're going to Kings Road. That's what it is.
You're not like, yeah, I think that's, it pretty much has to be Kings Road. Purely, maybe just because it's the map that everyone is fairly comfortable on.
I think it's also a map that they can just utilize their Rocket Winston composition quite well, and they have shown when they do get shoved into a bit of a corner, they're okay swapping onto the Reinhardt, and that usually comes into play when we get to the third checkpoint. And even then, it's not necessary, right? Teams don't have to swap onto that composition, attack or defense, and so. For Fireball, in terms of picking this, they're happy to run that same composition that they've been running quite often. They can, if they want to, they can have a Budo on Soldier like we saw during Control Center as well. That's something that Blank have shown they've got issues dealing with, a Soldier that's very well protected up in high ground, the window specifically on King's Row as well. So there's the option for that. There's the option to leave a Budo on Genji and just go full dive onto Blank when they come in. Now the question is, what are Blank going to run on attack? They've run a few different things. They've run the tank composition with Reinhardt. They've run dive. I think that's the most common one we'll see them do on King's Row. And I think at least once we've seen a Widowmaker come out.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, we've even seen Widowmaker. There's something, and it is actually going to be King's Row. There's something I kind of want to touch on that you sort of brushed over there that I actually kind of want to bring some attention to, and that is Rocket on this Winston. Fireball themselves admitted a few weeks ago they had some losses, then started to pick up some success, and it was in putting Rocket on the Winston and playing kind of more to that. But it was also the only thing they were able to do. And we said, okay, that's all right. You've got to still figure out these other. You've got to use that to pick up wins while you are working on your issues with flexibility, and for a while we felt like they weren't. Then actually a couple of weeks ago we did start to see them playing Rocket back onto the Reinhardt, things like that, and actually getting a bit of success with that. So I want to see them make further improvements in that area here.
I think this is a map where you can see that. You can see the fruits of their labor there, because you can see them do well with their usual composition, and then when it comes to checkpoint number 3, if we're going to see Reinhardt come out of Fireball, that's where it'll be.
Yeah.
We actually did see a little bit of Reinhardt, previously as well, and it's rare, but it looks like they are willing to bring it back, and that's a big tell, because the fact that they're willing to go there and say, look, we can do this, is a step in the right direction in terms of Fireball's flexibility, which has been so far plaguing them throughout the tournament.
Yeah, it'll almost be a little unfortunate. I mean, this is still Blank, right? You're only going to show so much of whatever improvement you have made, because they are still a really good team that can make you look bad just because they can pick a lot of teams apart, really. So I still want to see them do that here. Fireball show a bit of that flexibility if they have been working on it, which I guarantee you they have been. And then maybe later on in this round robin, when they play some of their other matches against the other more middle of the pack teams and even the 2 teams below them, maybe that's when we'll actually see it paying more dividends. In any case, King's Row, man, I'm excited.
Here we go. I'm excited to see if Fireball are going to pull out something extremely good here, because we saw a little bit of magic on Gardens on Lijiang. I want to see a little bit of magic again now in King's Row, specifically from Fireball. Also, though, if you're a Blank fan, you do just want to see Blank roll on through, which would give you a little bit of safety, help you sleep at night.
Yeah. So I think a lot of Blank fans have been in dire need of getting some sleeps here. They've had a few...
And not just because the broadcasts are late.
They've had a few situations where if you're a Blank fan, you may have been tossing and turning through the night. But yeah, this is looking a little bit more comfy, at least after that control. And look, this is still King's Row. I mean, sure, you pick it because arguably it's the closest thing you have to neutral ground between these two teams, but look, this is still a map that Blank are really, really good on. This is still a map that Blank beat a lot of teams.
All right, we're going to actually start on the triple tank going into this, and it's going to be AVRL on the Soldier as well, so a little bit different to what Blank have traditionally done. And they are starting to bring the triple tank back a lot, so this is Blank experimenting far, well, not far beyond, but definitely going back to their roots a little bit.
Yeah, and not running EU up on the Zarya as well, which is one of the other things you can run. Oh, good pick out onto Gunba there. They did actually get Ninth's mech.
Sorry, you're right, it's AVRL on the Soldier, my bad.
Yeah, well, well, it's okay, I forgive you. But actually, Fireball are kind of off to a good start here. Blank failing to get these return kills through, so Fireball should actually cap this one out here.
Well, that would be, I want to say, a little bit unexpected, not totally unexpected, because look, Fireball, they've had these really good moments against Blank, and this looks like another really good moment. Blank, though, they got to come back. They're not ready to give this up.
They have enough time to kind of regroup and get back onto it. They do actually need to touch the point, but here they go. Kiki already out of the mech, unfortunately, and the only trade back they've had so far is Rocket, who has a much shorter walk back. Trill needs to be careful to not go down, but he doesn't really know which way to face the shield. RQT does have a sound barrier to commit, and they're going to have to survive this entire Dragon Blade. Already it's going pear-shaped as both the healers go down. That's Trill getting picked off as well. And good attempt by Blank, but Fireball will secure. And Blank actually just lose their opportunity to take an early fight in the streets phase.
Yeah,
now.
they're not only that, but Fireball going to be rolling on through. Look at the ultimates. They get a bit of snowball as well. I really respect Apudo's patience. Right then, he could have pulled out the Dragon Blade earlier. He absolutely could have, but he waited because he needed to see if Blank were going to fully commit, because he doesn't want to get his Dragon Blade baited out for nothing. As soon as Blank committed, he says, here I go. I'm going to get the kills. He got the kills, and they get the cap.
Yeah, they're not going to give away the snowball quite so easily, though. Really trying to come in for the contest, but already losing Gunba. Again, the only trade back is onto Rocket, who did actually have an ultimate he could have used. NZNI has to go into full retreat. Oh, unfortunately goes down. AVRL really actually doing a lot of work here. May just single-handedly stop the snowball.
And he's got the tools there as well. They're going to need to do a lot here. The card doesn't get fantastic movement, so Fireball wasn't much of a snowball. It's like, you got the yeah, it's a fireball instead, and unfortunately, a little bit of a negative connotation attached to this
going up in flames. Yeah. Well, in any case, Blank now wanting to properly commit to this fight, and they're going to force ultimates out of Fireball no matter what. That was a very early self-destruct out of Kiki. It's bought them a bit of space, but I mean, this is still Fireball's ground, right? They're actually the ones back in ownership of this card. Oh, the sound barrier has to keep Rocket alive. That's a little unfortunate because he's already ulting as well. They pick NZNR. AVRL isn't finding heaps with this tactical visor, but it is putting down a lot of pressure. NZNR out of the picture as well, which means they can kind of open up on these tanks, charge up their ultimates, and hopefully kill off these healers as well. Yeah, good work by Eat You Up, and they are back in control of this one here, Blank.
Definitely looking more comfortable, I would say, with Eat Up back on Tracer as well. Look, this is his carry pick. Anything that's not the Tracer. Look, he's got a good Zarya, but it's just not his Tracer. So when you really want to win as Blank, this is what you got to run. And for Fireball as well, look, AVRL, actually not for Fireball, but for AVRL specifically, yeah, the attack visor, I guess it was a little bit average, but killing Apudo really affected Fireball's damage up with their opportunity to get back in the fight. So it was a full retreat for Fireball.
Very early commit out of Fireball. They go straight in with that Transcendence, which is now going to run out. Apudo does finally find AVRL, but he went really deep in finding that one. And they're already getting return kills anyway. Blank aren't out of this one. And now Gunba able to commit his Transcendence here. Means if they can pick off Zalx, there we go. Very little for Fireball to fall back on here as Blank able to get everyone back into this fight and force Fireball off.
And the 5v5 on the back as well, sorry, it's actually a 5v4 because Apudo killed AVRL, and then he went into this awkward 1 versus 1 with Trill, where essentially they were just wasting each other's time, and a Primal Rage coming out of Trill as well. So unfortunately for Fireball on the other side, it was a 5v4 that, while with the numbers advantage, they couldn't secure it.
These are really awkward fights. They're not particularly conclusive, but what they are doing is running down the clock, and that very much favors Blank. This one already starting to go a little bit more Fireball's favor as they close out on Gunba. They get Kiki as well, much needed, and they will start getting the payload underway. But Blank have bought themselves time and space, in fact, to hold before this second cap still, and there's only 2 minutes remaining.
Oh, if they can pick up AVRL, yes they do. That's going to be a really big deal. Sound barrier now to secure this push. Eat up going down as well. That's all the offensive damage structure of Blank taken out, which means it will be a cap out. I do not see Blank realistically holding this unless their members can really come back up.
Blank really overcommitted, man. Like, they should have backed off. They had actually done everything right and allowed themselves, like I said, the space and the time to just back up and hold before the cap. Now it's dicey. Now it's going to be difficult. Look, they may just still pull it off, but they haven't done themselves any favors here, and Apudo is going to try and stop them from pulling off as best as he can. Oh, unfortunately goes down to the pulse bomb, but the cap went through anyway, and now Blank, again, they can't take an early fight. They've not done themselves any favors here at all.
Well, they drew out Apudo's ultimate. That's about all they can really take out of it. I don't know if anyone else, NZ&R, I think, probably use an ultimate in there as well. A little bit hard to tell. So Blank, they buy a little bit of space, but they also lose a bit of space. Take one step forward, take another step back, and we're into sort of this neutral position. Fireball struggling to move forward, Blank struggling to keep the position. Also, getting another early kill on Apudo should mean they secure this next defense.
Yeah, I feel like actually it was a bit of hubris earlier in choosing not to back off. They sort of went, no, we're Blank. We can just go ahead and continue fighting and win. And like, why not just make the safer play, man?
Well, I mean, I think the same argument can be made right at the start of the game. Blank decided to come back to retake the first cap. They lost that as well. Yeah, forced out a couple of ults, but they committed ultimates into that, and that gave Fireball a lot of room. Where Blank are winning are sort of in the later parts.
AVRL hasn't been noticed up here. Now they put the Discord orb on the Diva to try and force him out. They do actually pick off Knight. Knight fell off! He fell off into the pit below. That is terrible for Fireball. Well, in any case,
resets the mech.
Yeah, they'd already kind of lost that fight anyway, so it's not the end of the world, but that was unforced.
And unfortunate. Blank now sitting in a pretty decent space. So like I said, where Blank are kind of failing right at the end of the caps, just as the card's about to get over, or just at the start when the cap's about to go over. So in the middle section, they are being successful.
Also out of Kerr loss, but NZ&R has already been picked by Gunba, of all people, who does lose his life to Apudo, but Blank still had plenty in the back pocket to keep this one going. AVRL doesn't actually find much with his tactical visor, finishing off Apudo on the back end, but now he's able to put the pressure down on the rest of Fireball. Once again, they will beat them back. Not ideal in terms of ultimate economy. They're kind of on a semi-level playing field, but again, they're running down the clock. They'll be happy to take it.
Especially with 1 minute remaining, this is when Fireball are going to be really struggling to catch up. Specifically, look at where the card position is, only around the first bend. It was nearing the second bend, but if your card's right there, only with 1 minute left, you haven't got enough mileage. Blank is going to get a decent number of fights still remaining.
Here goes Apudo opening up with the Dragon Blade. Yeah, he's starting to find things at long last. There we go. It took him a moment. Swung around a few times. Getting AVRL at the top of that was very, very crucial. And
Blank need a stall.
Yeah, RQT had committed his ultimate early in that, so they did lose one of the stall tools. But yeah, now they're just going to have to stall for a moment here. They get NZ&R, which is decent for them. Kind of cut off that ultimate before it's available. But this is going to be a hard ask to get back on this payload and stop the cap.
All right, well, Fireball got a couple of ultimates available. Nothing extremely to be proud of, but Blank get their full respawn. This is the second guarantee fight that I'm talking about. Blank were always going to get this fight. They do dodge the self-destruct.
That was very important, but they lose the only ultimate they would have had at their disposal in Gunba, which would have been great for stalling out. AVRL in trouble with the tactical visor. He's able to back off, get some health back in his health bar, I suppose. Now here come the ultimates out from both teams. In fact, the self-destruct finding Zelfs is nice for Blank just for pure numbers advantage reasons, as Gunba gets a kill and then commits the Transcendence. Blank with that are going to be able to clean up the fight. Yeah, that is indeed it. I'll be honest, that looks very, very doable for Fireball, but props to Blank for actually holding it out. Like I said though, no favors done for themselves. I think Blank are kind of playing in this very unmeasured, almost reckless way where they could just be playing more patiently.
I think I will get to that in a second. I just want to highlight really quickly, Trill kind of set up that kill for Kiki as well. That Kiki self-destruct, I think, would have entirely missed, but what Trill did during the Primal Rage is he actually knocked Zelfix out of cover and directly into firing range of the self-destruct. That was what kind of set up the chain reaction for Blank. Off that one kill, like again, This is where Blank succeed. Kill the support structure for Fireball, then the rest of Fireball start to fall apart. That's exactly what happened. Fireball members started being killed one by one. What was it? Inzin and R, the only member left. One Tracer, not enough to get that cap. That is how Blank secured that final hold. But you're right, because otherwise there's a real possibility Fireball would have kept on through due to the fact that Blank are maybe playing reckless here.
And now actually Blank have to as good as cap is really where they're at because of how far that payload got. I mean,
which is fine because it's Blank.
Yeah, but if that's the attitude they have, which it seems to be, that's not a good way to play, right? You can't just go, oh yeah, but we're Blank, we'll win. I mean, I'm not gonna,
you can't take that. You can't take that angle against HQ and Flash Wolves anymore.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And I mean, you should know that now. You should know better. I think that's the thing that's really getting me, right? They should know better. Even though it's Fireball, even though they're third from the bottom, and you're like, yeah, we're probably going to win this, you should know better. Like, there is never any harm in playing safely, and Blank aren't.
And you call me the disappointed father.
I'm the critical uncle. Like, I sit down like,
you sit down next to me, you say, look, I think your daughter's good.
Yeah, like I'll be nice, like I'll buy you cool things for your birthday, but then like if you make mistakes, I'm gonna sit down like, all right, look, dude, you shouldn't have got married so young. You know, whatever terrible mistake you've made with your life. In any case, Blank now on the offense. Let's see how cleanly they can get this first cap through, if at all. They haven't actually secured out any kills just yet. And, oh no, is Chill going to die first? Who is going to die first? Because it's going to be a member of Blank, surely. They haven't...
They're very low. There it is.
They do actually get Zelks. Yeah, it is Kiki who goes down first. But they're barely denting Fireball here.
Like I said, it's really the first cap for Blank. That attack on the first cap where... For some reason, they struggle here. Whether it's against AHQ, Flash Wolves, just about everybody even detonated to a degree. Like, there's something happens for Blank attacking the first cap that they cannot wrap their minds around. Even Hong Kong Attitude is on that list.
It's like they sort of have to sound it out first. So let's hope that you're quite right there and that the second one goes better. Because if not, well, it starts to look scary.
Forcing out high ground.
Forcing out a Puto is a good way to start off, but he's actually able to heal up and rally. And they are in a position where they can just kind of push back onto this one, which is what they did last time. So unless Blank close out the kills, this is not over yet.
Well, Rocket just left his positioning as well. Rocket finally gets back in with the shield, so now the retake does begin for Fireball, but it's coming in a bit late.
Nano Visor to come in, picks out Aiiwa, but they've already lost the front line, so this isn't exactly safe. Sound barrier out for Blank as well means they're pretty fine throughout all this, and now the cap about to come through as a Puto was on the wrong side of that fight. So there we go. The second offense does do it, but I feel like that was more Fireball making some positional errors.
All right, here comes Blank with their positioning. I don't know if this is going to be error or not, but does force Fireball out a little bit further.
You nearly said Flashball, didn't you?
I know, Flashball. it's...
Firewolves.
I want it to happen. Firewolves. I want to see a flash ball happen. I don't know what that looks like, but it sounds really exciting. Either way, it is one of the crazy things is that a Puto flank, what he expected to find is his team members to wrap around and meet them. What he found instead was nobody, and he got kicked in the face by Gumbo. Unfortunate.
Yeah, Blank not quite able to get that really high. Gets swallowed by Kiki. That is a terrible way to start. Then Aiiwa gets that kill onto 9th as well. Inzin does find one kill, and it was Atar who had actually started out the Dragon Blade. That's a nice Earth Shatter, but it's just not getting followed up. I mean, it looked pretty on the ground, spiderwebbing, and in all of this, the cart is moving. Fireball are getting relentlessly beaten back, and it seems that all the kills they get, all the things they land are all for naught, because at the end of the day, the cart is moving.
And they are trading as well, so for every kill Fireball are getting, Blank are getting something back, and you're absolutely right, because Kant does continue to move, so although trades going evenly, Fireball do not contest. And they're waiting for respawners, and Blank are capitalizing. We're going to talk about positioning. Blank are taking forward positioning, Fireball backing off.
Yeah, they didn't do it earlier because they knew it wasn't quite safe enough, but now they actually are, and the payload is about to round this final bend. No one quite going down to that Nano Visor combo. All they get is Kiki's mech, and he's got enough time to get back into it because they've got kills on the crucial members here of Fireball. Heck, they're getting more. Atar is wreaking havoc on this backline. Gumba's going to commit a Transcendence so they can secure this point. I actually do very much agree with that here. They got the kills through. Fireball just kind of felt the shambles.
A little bit of a possible overreaction from Gumba. It's a very expensive, I guess, insurance policy coming up from Gomba that may affect their ability to snowball through onto third, because they got to get it all the way to the end with 4 minutes and 15 left. It's a decent amount of time, so I'm not expecting them to get it in one push unless EDUP gets something crazy with this.
Well, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. That's a great sticky, and they've got Rocket and Knight. That's two of the tanks, so something crazy did indeed happen. Sound barrier out so that they can continue the fight, that they can put on the pressure safely. The payload marching steadily. Fireball need to get on this one and contest it, but they're too busy trying to deal with all these members who are keeping the force in the base. Blank! Less than a minute to go. Look at that. It just happened. Ooh.
Yep, blank happened. And the
blank is still blank.
The thing that you can always count on for blank is they know how to translate kills and advantages into direct objective progress. So
that's actually a good point. One of the things they've struggled with lately has more been getting the kills.
Yeah, but when they do get the kills, they know, like, okay, well, this is now how much progress we can get on objective. This is our expected return on kills. You got a return on investment and a return on kills for blank.
Yeah. And after all that investment, you get a good ult economy going. Aputo's actually going to get player of the game there, and yeah, that was that first point cap, I believe. Yes, indeed it was.
That was that retake attempt by blank that kind of went sideways a bit.
Yeah, sideways straight into a Dragon Blade.
So, I mean, if we're gonna...
That's pretty extreme. It's like, whoa, Dragon Blade.
Whoops, where did that come from?
Where's my leg?
1 minute I'm going sideways, next minute...
on the point of the first point, defense for blank, where they did come in and try and actually retake it, make sure they tried to... They weren't coming in to buy time, they were coming in to win the fight and still hold point A. The risk in that is actually quite a lot more because of the kind of composition they're running. They're running, quite simply, bigger health bars. Bigger health bars means more ult charge, and we saw the result of that, right? They came in, they actually didn't manage to cap it, and we saw 4 ultimates for Fireball, and one of them, there was also a Dragon Blade as well, but that was actually used to secure the point by Aputo. So even after using that, there were still 4 ultimates for Fireball to take into the street space. Now, blank handled that part well, but if there was another team, say for example AHQ or Flash Wolves, or hey, even Marchi, they would actually be able to punish that. They would actually be able to utilize that big advantage that your big tanky health bars have just given over to you.
And that's probably Fireball's weakness. Where I praise blank is they know how to translate kills into objective. Fireball, not so much. They got it in some regards, but they can't get that maximum mileage out of it, whereas it's like, if I use X amount of ultimates where I get this amount of kills, this is my expected progress result on objective. Fireball, they just don't know where that kind of sits, or that expected result is far less.
I was just going to say that's actually a mistake that a lot of teams have made throughout this tournament, so the sort of failure to capitalize. And there's only really been one team that has done that and then fixed it, and that team has been Matchy. So if you're Fireball, that's the team you need to look to as the example to follow, given that that is a major mistake that they're making right now.
I think blank as well, when they notice they have an advantage or any kind of point to move in, they just immediately, they just go in. There's no hesitation at all. There is one unit. They go.
Like, you really got to get that snap.
Look, I don't want to break my fingers like that. That is dangerous.
It's just a
But they do go, and you're right, because when we look at another team like Sun Sister, where they really failed is they don't want to go, and they want to go out. They're like, well, this is too much for me. Blank are like, okay, we got an advantage, bang, immediately capitalize. This is why they can get so much mileage on objective, because the timing, the amount of hesitation is kind of like nil. No hesitation, and the timing is near perfect for them to make the move in. And other teams like Flash Wolves and AHQ do also do that as well. This is why these 3 teams in particular are so far up. They understand what they need to do and how to make an advantage and make that even bigger.
I was going to say the only team I feel that has consistently done that better than blank has been AHQ. And actually, when AHQ did pick up their losses to blank, it wasn't because they weren't doing that as quickly and as sort of dedicatedly as blank. It was actually that blank were just getting more early kills than them and had more times where they're in that situation where they could just commit hard without hesitation, win the fight, etc., etc. And now that's actually swapped the other way around. AHQ seem to be getting that. So I think one thing that is a decent takeaway for blank here, there were some shaky things throughout that. There were some maybe odd calls, but aside from that very first map of Lijiang Tower, they have actually fixed up that mistake of just giving away kills in the opening skirmish and having everything go all right from there.
Yeah, we didn't see Trill immediately die after that.
It's very refreshing.
That was the last time.
Just dying like that.
Always.
That's a lot of deaths. So every time
I snap my fingers, a tank main dies. Well, in any case, we may see some more tank mains die after this break. I don't doubt we will, in fact, but it will be potentially our last game or potentially Fireball's opportunity to join the club of teams that have taken Assault off Blank. But that is all coming up after the break, so don't go anywhere. This time for real. How are we, everybody?
Just testing you.
Yeah. Woo.
They actually added us into the cinematic?
Yeah. We're the latest addition. We're that endemic to Overwatch itself. Well, look, here we go. We've already actually got our final map pick out. It is, of course, Blank's pick. Well, potentially final. Okay.
Are you predicting something there, buddy?
I've fully just spoken too soon. I'm sorry. I have no excuse for that, but it's going to be Temple of Anubis. That's the actual thing
What you've done is you've taken Fireball's potential membership into the... We've taken Assault off Blank.
I just revoked it before they even had a chance. Yeah, I'm like the Harvard application process. Like, you didn't even... No one even read it. It just went straight in the bin.
That's a brutal way
It didn't even send a rejection email. You just never know.
Wow.
So we're going to Egypt.
That's rough.
I didn't get to Harvard. I'm still bitter. That's why I'm in esports, guys. No.
We are going to Egypt.
I never had a shot at Harvard, let's be honest. But yeah, we're going to Egypt. It's a long way away from Harvard, which is in colder parts of Boston.
All right, so Assault has been traditionally weak for Blank. That's not like it's just a well-known thing.
It's just it now. Yeah.
I think it's been decided. Look, Hong Kong Attitude just took another one off Blank. Machi took one.
And another one.
And Flash Rules consistently take them. At this stage, even statistically, it is just their most lost game mode. So something happening here for them. Fireball's best chance will be right here, right?
Yeah, they've kind of gone down the list of the standings, like first to, AHQ and Flash Rules, and then like Machi, and then Hong Kong Attitude, and then like Fireball are kind of looking at that like, oh, is it our turn now? And like, hey, maybe it is. Like, they're the next team down in the standings after Hong Kong Attitude, who, like you said, just did it again. So I think this is actually a very real possibility.
It's not impossible, and I think if any map may go the way of Fireball, surely it has to be here. Now, also, the other thing for Blank to consider is, if you know you're weak on this, surely you spend a decent amount of time practicing this. This isn't something that you just give up. You never just write this off if you're Blank, because you know you will always have to play it, and it will always be map number 3. You're probably spending more attention to it, if anything.
Yeah, and the reason you don't just want to write it off and go, we can just always lose that because we'll win the first 2, is if you don't win the first 2, I mean, heck, if you even lose the first 2, and this is then a write-off, like, oh, that's it, you're just done. So yeah, this is something they should have really been working hard on improving. This is interesting, something they've actually pulled out on Anubis before, both on attack and defense. One of the few teams to really do it on defense. I hit you up
no mercy,
on Widowmaker. No mercy.
Well, that's because usually they have run mercy with IU up before, and they're just not doing it this time around. First pick connects onto something, but no kills. And this is
the damage boost. He's obviously used to the mercy, because the first thing that happened was he called for healing.
Well, I mean, Gumba can still heal him, so that's not out of the question.
Yeah, well, they're already kind of getting pushed back a little bit, these more advanced fellows here of Blank, and Eat You Up has yet to find any kills. Oh, jeez. Getting pressured on. Apudo,
nice chase.
Not going to let him get away. Yeah, nice chase indeed, but Gunba is trying to keep him healed up. If anything, Eat You Up is now dead weight here, as he's not able to contribute much to the fight, but they did get 9th mech. They do have a little bit to work with here as they pick NZNR as well, and actually, Eat You Up has nothing to do with it. They just kind of win that in a 5 versus 6.
Well, that's the thing. Eat You Up kind of just wasted the time of 2+ members and a Discord orb as well, because, I mean, he finally dies, but look, the rest of Fireball also finally dies, and Fireball got nothing else out of that push other than killing You Up. So, cool, you got the Widow, but you lost everything, and that's a bit of a trap as well. You get kind of baited into chasing the Widow.
Spider's web.
You get baited into chasing the Widow, and you get caught in the web, and you achieve nothing in the push.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. We'll have to see if IUWeb can get a bit more mileage this time around. Already, though, picking off Kurlos is a great way to start. ATR is going to get forced back here, but Blank have effectively held this until Kurlos can respawn and rejoin his team.
The other thing is Gumba did an exceptional job of just keeping you up topped up throughout that entire engagement as well, still losing members Fireball. They just can't take a break here.
Yeah, now they have to wait for NZNR as well, and Blank kind of pounce on that Trill, looking to go aggressive with that ultimate. Even if they don't find any more kills, they're going to beat back Fireball properly, not let them commit to a 5 versus 6 if they really decided they wanted to. And yeah.
You're going to be hitting a full 6 stack for Fireball now. All 6 ultimates ready to go. This has been a really tough attack so far. They haven't been able to find anything to commit onto. Maybe getting a kill into Kiki will start things off properly.
Kiki doesn't quite find anything with that self-destruct, but does create a bit of space, which is good because they had lost AVRL.
There it is.
AVRL really shouldn't have been there. Kiki, does go down before he gets back in the mech, and now Chill getting damaged out as well. I don't know why Blank went so far forward. They went too far forward.
Hubris.
AVRL was low. Yeah, hubris Blank once again. Can you just stop doing this, Blank? Can you just not, like, because you can. You don't have to do this.
As my niece, I'm not.
Like, you can just not do that, right? You don't have to go that far forward. You don't have to commit even though AVRL's low. You don't have to be in such a spot that you can't successfully retreat because you have overextended.
And check this out, Fireball only used Pulse Bomb to get all of that done, which means they're in a great spot. Look, they're already on the second cap.
Wow. This is how you get it into a full cap. This is what the snowball comes from. AVRL has to duck off to the side as the self-destruct comes out, and that means this entire Nano Blade is effectively wasted. Now he's too low to affect the fight. Does manage to get a Puto, actually, so barely by the skin of his teeth. It's 2/3 to Fireball, And AVRL's still not really back in this fight just yet. He's kind of relying on the rest of his team to respawn. He hasn't been able to pick up any significant amount of healing. And Fireball are actually still in a position where they could try and close this one out.
Even if they don't, 2/3 is an exceptional lead on your very first attack on the second capture point. So Fireball, look, it takes a long time for a lot of teams to get 2/3. To get it straight away means you just have to work on that last turn and you will secure this.
And this is all because of that overextension Blank made, right? Remember that thing I was talking about that they could also just choose to not do? This is why you don't do it, and Blank should know better.
Yeah, this is why you don't date bad boys. I told you he would be bad for you, and this is exactly what you get. Blank. Learn your lesson. It's growing pains, I'll tell you that.
Ever since you joined that Tranquility cult, Blank, I'm really worried. Yeah, well, this is going to be actually Blank a little bit more set up now on the defense, so it will be a tougher nut to crack for this final third here for Fireball. But they already have to They only have to crack a third against Blank, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but they got to be playing for thirds here. And currently, Fireball kind of diving in. They need to understand, look, your win condition or your play style needs to shift. You're not going to go for that one big snowball push. You're going to fight to chip out the point. That's how you're going to win. You got to be calculated, strategic, slow, and cohesive.
And timing is a big factor in that. We talk about this every time Sombra gets picked up. There is going to be a window somewhere here for Fireball where there is no EMP. They can't afford to go when the EMP is up.
The window's closing fast.
Yeah, the window is about to close here. So they need to wait until it then gets closed again, given that it's now available. There it goes. Fireball, they might just have to write this one off. They do pick out Gunba, but they've already lost too many members for it. And there's a sound barrier out from RQT just to make sure it gets secured. Don't disagree. The window is back open, though, for Fireball.
It is momentarily. And look at this, Blank do a really good job. They actually win at the end of these fights. You'll notice RQT turns off the healing, turns on the speed boost, and all of these damaged members, they're just eating up health pack, the hacked health packs. Very, very smart players. They understand how to charge up the EMPs extremely quickly. They're doing everything to efficiently get this EMP. Look, it's already on 89. The fight just ended.
And the window's closed again. Fireball did not even get into position to go for this next fight. They do have their full run of ultimates though, so they may be able to get it in spite of that. And the other way you can get it is by killing Gunba. Also, that EMP isn't the alpha and omega of these fights. They can just weather the storm. There it goes. Great catch on Fireball off into the side. Completely sleuthed out. And this is looking to be a team wipe.
That is exactly how you play your EMPs. And I think Ninth is going to get stalled out. Sorry, he's going to get staggered out.
Committed to self-destruct there, actually. So that's one less ultimate Fireball now has.
I thought it was because he lost mech, because when you lose mech, you go on to 0% anyway. I don't know.
No, he's in the mech now. That's the thing.
You're right. It did get committed into absolutely nothing. And the thing is, yeah, Fireball came in with 6 ultimates. They have 5 now. In fact, they got 4 now, and they got nothing out of there. I lie, they get trilled, but not because of the pulse bomb. EMP cancels out these ultimates if you don't give them off in time.
Yeah, well, they've actually drawn another ultimate out in that pulse bomb and have killed NZ. Now, they do have to commit their own pulse bomb, but Blank, each time they're looking healthier and healthier in terms of their own run of ultimates, and they are pulling some out of Fireball. It's been a bit of an uphill battle in a strange kind of way, but because they've utilized this Sombra well, and also because Fireball have played around it poorly, they've made it work. Here we go. Blank have realized, hey, let's not overextend. Maybe let's just back up this time, eh?
And we're definitely looking pretty comfortable. EMP back up again, no surprises there. Usual suspects for Blank. Bunch of ultimates, good positioning, waiting for Fireball to walk in. Suddenly the EMP comes out and Blank should be getting that team wipe. Here we go, Gumba moves in.
Oh, Vámonos a medianoche, and they are straight into this one already. Gunba did get picked down though, so if Fireball weather this one a little bit, they will actually buy themselves more window time, if you will, but they're getting wiped in this really staggered way, so it's probably still going to be closed on them again anyway, and Blank do have another hold on their hands.
All right, we're less than a minute now. This is getting towards the crunch time. Look, a lot of these ultimates that Five have been sitting on, 4 of them have been the same ultimates they've been sitting on for basically forever. They just have never had a shot to break past the EMP. The timing window is so strictly tight right now for Blank, for Fireball rather. Blank are about to hit EMP, I believe, even before Fireball can get in here.
Yeah. They'll have a full run of ultimates here. Oh, actually, they do have a window. They're going for it, but that sound barrier means that they will get this EMP up. They've already lost a member in Apudo. Great Dragon Blade there for Eta. Finds Zalx as well. Kurlos did have the Transcendence running, so they couldn't quite kill him, and now Kiki securing him with that self-destruct. Yeah, the window is getting closed here for Fireball. They did actually get close to Cam in that final third, but Blank are in control of this fight. It's all just going to be about closing it out, and if they can do it after this overtime has kind of begun, then they are in good stead. They will actually hold. Look, it was not anywhere near as clean as I feel it should have been, but they aren't actually going to get capped out here.
To be honest, I think what Blank do really well here is they have really good understanding and very good execution of that Sombra defense. It's not something every team can do well. I've seen plenty of teams now, including, to be honest, AHQ, when they try to bring the Sombra out. For a team that's as good at defense as they are, they're not that great in the Sombra defense. I don't know what it is for them specifically. And the thing I've heard about in interviews is Eddie Boss specifically practices the Sombra as well for that team. That's why they brought Eddie Boss out for the weekend. But it wasn't a success. And when you look at Blank, that is a successful Sombra defense. Yeah. That is how you achieve that.
I mean, they had it up every single fight. And honestly, there is no reason you shouldn't be able to do that on Sombra. You actually just have to be diligent in using those health packs for all your healing, keeping them all hacked, making sure that you're cycling through them. And you can get that up so incredibly quickly. I mean, we saw there was a point there where he had it up, not just before the fight had started, but before Fireball had even set up for the fight.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we kind of said it. He just used it, and then not before long, he was at about 89%. And the other thing is they do prioritize it. So RQT, like I said, he turns off the healing when they know it's recharge time. It's time to get that EMP back up. He sacrifices his own charge for ultimate on Sound Barrier just to get that EMP, and it works out. It works out perfectly. They know what they're doing there.
I wonder if this is actually going to stay in McCree. I mean, he's not changed off it yet, I suppose. I kind of want it to
Who
be.
plays McCree on good old Blank? I'm trying to think.
Gumba.
Maybe. Yeah, it's actually Gumba. You're not actually. Actually, Gumba did. There was a point.
He actually did once upon a time.
There was once upon a time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when the last time Gumba successfully played McCree. I won't use the word successful, but the last time he really focused on playing McCree was when McCree still did something like 420 damage on a Phantom Hammer.
Yeah, he's not playing McCree. He's playing something sensible like Widowmaker.
It's actually going to be eat up, so that's fine. This is expected. This is something they do.
And this time with the Mercy.
Indeed, with the Mercy. Not going to be a Pharah either. I guess Eta Tracer is the way to go.
Looking to try and catch someone. All he's really been able to spot is the D.Va and Winston. Winston going and diving aggressively onto it. Doesn't really find anyone just yet. Neither have Fireball really found anyone. They did actually pick Zalf through that, and this is how you can leave. It's just unfortunately losing Gunba, but the Widowmaker creates a kind of pressure. Pick. Nice pick. That's the sort they need. But there are some trade backs coming through. Never mind that. NZNR gets picked out. They've created the space they need, and Blake should be able to set themselves up on this point. Wow, Edu up. Yeah, now he's looking better. He's really hitting his stride with his Widow.
And he killed both of the DPS players. Starts with Apudo, finishes it with, sorry, well, he gets NZNR in the middle of that, and then picks up a mech from 9th right at the end as well.
A DPS sandwich.
Pretty much. I mean, that's your DPS smorgasbord right there. You walked up right to the kitchen. You said, I want one of these, and one of these, and that'll be me.
Buffet. Well, now actually Blank do have an opportunity to snowball, and also Fireball have made some picks. They have no ultimates here. This is their chance to do it. Atar unfortunately has to back off first, though. There's the sticky, onto Apudo. So gets the closeout kill as well. Well executed, looking to get Knight. They find Rocket as well. Off to a really good start here. No one's gone down just yet, and they're going to have a raise before long as well. So Fireball are going to have to really target RQT. He manages to steer clear of that pulse bomb first. Already capped out. Here come the respawns now for Fireball. What are they going to commit into this? Trilla's already got an ultimate running. Rocket's down. They're trickling onto the point now. And Blank, they're looking set to snowball this one straight through. Pulse bomb still available. They still have that res 2, the self-destruct out from 9th to buy themselves some space on the point. But now Blank going to rally, come back in. They do need to secure out the kills, but they are doing it. Kurlos again down. NZNR in a world of trouble here. 9th out of the mech gets picked off, and Rocket low. Still res hasn't been used. Apudo cannot hide safe in this corner, and it is only a matter of time. Oh, Blank, they're looking a little bit more normal.
We've seen this before from Fireball, and I said it the last time, and I'll say it again because this is a repeated mistake that I'm not too pleased about. Apudo, straight away onto the main. Look, that's your win condition. You just made your best player go onto a main. This is like XQQ. Where's your damage output going to come from? Cool, you can stall, but stalling isn't going to be enough here. You're not playing time bank. If you get capped, you're done. You cannot afford to stall. You have to get the damage. You have to get the trade kills. And if Apudo goes May early, well, you're not going to get the kills.
And this is after he'd given up any ultimate charge he had on Soldier by switching over to Roadhog as well.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah, I mean, they'd already hurt their chances a little bit. They had to survive that first fight. And then after doing that, you're right, they gave away the win condition. I mean, if you're not going to survive that first fight, like, why not just go ahead and try and survive the second one and maybe bring it back from there? Why go full last ditch?
And the other thing is, look, they went somber defense, and that's respectable. Teams do that. Blank does that. That's fine. But when you look at what Apudo did there, and it's more so praising Blank and the timing. I talk about timing against Sombra. When in Sombra, the week is when you just pick it up. So first cap, Volsky, teams want to play Sombra. Okay, so the attacking team going fast, going hard, take down the Sombra or take down the team. Whichever way you go for, the Sombra does nothing. No EMPs early coming out. You're not even damaged. So Fireball, you bring the Sombra out. What was your plan there? How are you going to get this EMP up? You're not, because the Sombra repeatedly died. Kurlos gets in there, dies, comes back, respawns, dies again. No EMP. That Sombra strat just didn't work, mostly because it was Blank's timing attack. Also because, well, they were in a position where, I don't know, it was so far gone, they couldn't really bring it back. And the May pick didn't help.
The timing was also so quick on Blank's part that the Sombra didn't even have time to set up the hacked health packs, right? I don't even think she got the one under the bridge, which obviously means that's a huge part. You don't even have any opportunity to get your EMP up at that point. So again, even more of a dead weight pick, right? When Blank did it on their defense, they actually waited to swap over onto the Sombra. They waited until they had enough time. I think that was just after the first push that they fended off, which was a bit of a struggle, but they got there eventually, and then they swapped. They recognized, look, we don't have time to hack these health packs. We don't have time to get into position, to get that EMP charged. We need to survive this first wave, and rightly so in that decision, right? We saw how close it got. More than 2/3 were captured by Fireball in that first push. If there was a Sombra there instead, that could have been disastrous.
And this is the other thing, you can afford to make that trade. You can trade away those 2/3. It's a little bit risky. I would say 1/3 maybe. 2/3 you're getting into territory where it's like, well, you might just get capped out. But essentially you're trading cap percentage for your ability to then sustain and get Sombra out safely.
Yeah, exactly. I will say there, look, Blank's offense was actually really great, and their defense can be chalked up to that one particular mistake. It was what lost them the first point and then gave away 2/3 on the second point. Big mistake, extremely costly mistake, not a mistake they should have made in the first place. Certainly not one I think they should ever make again, and it wasn't the first time they made a similar mistake in that whole series. Had some similar issues on King's Row with a sort of overextension and overcommitment. Look, it's clearly something they need to brush up on, but I would rather we're seeing a Blank that needs to brush up on things than has major glaring holes to fix. They do still have some things to polish, clearly, when they come up against AHQ and Flash Rules again, but they are at least looking a little bit healthier than they were a week ago.
And the best part is, this is on Assault, so unfortunately, Fireball membership denied.
Didn't get into Harvard. Yeah, they didn't get into Harvard. They have yet again
come back to us next round robin.
Yeah, they've yet again failed to join the club of teams that have taken an Assault map off Blank. Yeah, they have one last chance in the 4th round robin, so maybe they do still get an opportunity.
Maybe. I mean, that was pretty well done by Blank. I definitely liked their 2nd point defense. There's one thing about it that makes me think they were kind of towing the line there with about how risky it was. The EMPs, great. They were hitting all members of Fireball. That's fantastic. It just sets you up to win the fight. However, you could see as that round was going on, Fireball were starting to rack up their ultimates. They were stacking up, and that came down to the fact that they were dying before they could use it. Now, that's
it helps
kind of funny
because the EMP, right?
Yeah. They were EMP'd before they could use it, and then they died. So that sounds great for Blank. Like, look, these guys are getting so wrecked that they can't even use their ultimates. That sounds fantastic. But imagine a world where they play defensively enough after they're EMP'd, they can back out, and they've at most given away 1 death or even no deaths. Now you're suddenly down an EMP, and imagine you've committed another ult to that fight as well, and it hasn't worked out.
Or worse, imagine a world where Gunba missed, and they only had to get 1 further third there, Fireball. So, I mean, it was very close. After a certain point, actually, Blank did actually have a good enough run of ultimates themselves that I feel like they could have still steered their way through a fight where either of those things had happened, but certainly there was at least 2 fights there where actually had anything really gone majorly awry with the EMP or even just any other picks coming through, it could have been really disastrous.
My response to all of this is essentially that Blank are very well set up to take advantage of EMP. You see it as soon as the EMP comes down. This isn't a team where we go EMP and then what? That happens with AHK EMP and then what? Blank EMP, bam, kill. And it's not Gumba. He's not the one getting the kills. It's everybody else. Check out that kill feed. Everybody else. It's actually going to be Gumba on the Zenyatta. I would give it to Gumba maybe on the Sombra, to be honest. But if you could give it to him for more than one hero, I would.
Give it to him for the McCree.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. So you're right. Well, what if Blank just didn't commit? Well, they do commit, and that's the thing is they know how to play EMP so well. We'll get to that in a second. Actually, I think we should listen to Serenity's thoughts first.
教练 Serenity 先跟大家打声招呼。
大家好，我是 Blank Esports 的教练。
对 Serenity， 其实我们有2个问题想要访问您，是因为比较专业，是说，因为现在比赛已经进行到第3的循环了，前2个循环其实你们的胜率都还蛮高的，但是呢，在进入到第3循环的时候，你们先输给了 HQ， 接着又输给了闪电狼，但是历经有点小小的低潮，你们团队怎么样去面对这样的状况呢
？How are you feeling right now? What are you doing to improve?
我们意识到说，我们就是我们进步的程度可能没有比其他的队伍多。
We haven't improved as much as other teams.
第1个礼拜来看的时候，我们7-0获胜之后，从那个之后开始就开始。
Our best point was 7-0 in the first round robin. Since then, we've gone a bit downhill.
我们看起来就是说，我们进度的幅度没有其他的队友多。
And we haven't improved nearly as much as other teams have.
最后这2个循环之间的话，我们可以进步多少
？And in the last 2 round robins, including this one, we're looking to improve a lot more.
我们现阶段就还是在校正一些选手上的一些失误。我们现在最大的失误的话，就是有时候大招加的太多，因为大家毕竟还对在现场比赛还是有点紧张，所以有时候会有慌乱的时候，所以我们现在是在避免。 大家就是慌乱开大招这种情况，
就是减少失误的状况。那其实我们也知道说，原本你们阵容是从1-3-2，现在有点慢慢变成了2-2，是有发现说1-3-2这个阵容是越来越难打的状况。
我们
起初用1-3-2阵容是因为我们原本就是有3个输出的选手，所以我们想尝试一下说，我们就是是用1-3-2的阵型，因为我们。 看了比赛的时候，觉得说好像1-3-2阵型挺适合我们的风格。之后可能 还是以222的为主，还是对我们比较适合。
从地狱循环的全胜战绩到现在已经有尝过就是败果了嘛？那有没有哪2支或是哪1支队伍你们觉得是最难对付的？
Who's the hardest
目前
team
的
you've
话，
played?
我们还是觉得闪电狼还是最大的敌人。
So Flash Wolves are the
这次
hardest
3比
team
0
so
的成绩
far.
的话，也看得出来说，我们对就是他们进度幅度最大。
And that's been
我们对
reflected in
AHQ
our
也是
results.
相当慎重，但是我们还是认为闪电狼是进。
AHQ are also very difficult, but
谢
Flash
谢
Wolves are
Serenity
definitely
接
the
受我们
toughest
的
team
赛后
for
访
us.
问，谢谢。待会我们的 Serenity 还有一个重大任务要进行，所以我们先请他下台，谢谢。好的，这个礼拜的比赛在这边先告一段落，下个礼拜要提醒。
There we go. With any luck, we'll also be able to get him to help us catch up with the team on the couch as well. Always nice to kind of get some deeper thoughts. Interesting, I feel that they feel Flash Wolves are more of a challenge than AHQ.
I think statistically that's also accurate, but we've had this discussion where when we compare Flash Wolves and AHQ, it looks like you both have a really good tank player. You both have a really good soldier DPS player, but only one of you has a phenomenal tracer, and that's Flash Wolves.
Yeah, well, it doesn't quite seem we're getting a couch interview for the night, but you can, of course, see the rundown of how the night went. Gentlemen, do we have any general thoughts about the night? I feel like we're again in this
you
spot.
got 1 minute. You will get one in exactly 1 minute.
Yeah, we will get the couch. Well, in that case, yeah, we've got a minute to say we've had another night where we've had the expected result, but not in the expected way. What are our general thoughts on tonight?
As someone who is just predicting matches, I'm getting a bit worried during the matches themselves that, hey, maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe this team is going to turn it around. But like you said, the results actually came out, and the maps I really got most worried about were Assault. And I think that's starting to be the most interesting thing about the OPC so far.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it there actually. Because of the nature of Assault, it does seem to be one of those ones where it can swing a little bit back and forth, and that's actually creating some very exciting situations. Also means I think it's something all teams are going to have to put a lot of attention to practicing, because you don't want it to be a wild card when you come up into these matches. You're going to have to play it every single time. So here, of course, is the rundown of the night. It was, of course, Detonator Gold's night, but not in terms of their results. Losing first to Hong Kong Attitude, picking up that Assault, though, and then losing as well to Matchy. Then Matchy went on to win against Sun Sister, and we rounded off just now with Blank taking out Fireball. And with that, let's go ahead and get a little bit more of an in-depth look at Blank.
这是钢霸，我们可以看到是教练是 Jason。那么当然也问一个比较有趣的一个问题哦，听说你们最近想要去动物园？
对啊，就是我们现在安排就是每一周都会有一天，大家一起出去看一个去一个风景区或是去参观什么东西。然后上礼拜是指定去台北101，然后这个星期是指定去动物园，因为有人想要去看熊猫。
熊猫哦，哪位队员喜欢熊猫？
好几个都想要去看熊猫。
那上次你们听说去101有做到最楼上的一个楼层，然后有一位队员很怕高。
其实我们大部分的队的选手都有，他们都说他们怕高，就上去的时候就他们在玻璃旁这样子看，然后就有人恶作剧从后面这样子抓了一下，结果就真的是差点尖叫出来。
那我们这边有准备一些问题要问钢爸，因为钢爸应该是队上的一个辅助。 那他也是队上的主抠吗？那可不可以跟我们分享一下，就是在整个指挥过程当中有什么必须要去注意的地方？可不可以跟我们分享一下
？Since you're a support player, are you also a shot caller? And as a shot caller, what details do you have to keep in mind?
I play like a secondary shot caller role for the team, so I try to track the out of combat sort of stuff, tracking ultimates, for example, giving people suggestions on where to go during the free time, during the downtime, and then Drew takes over when deciding what actually to do, what to execute in the fight.
他身为算是副指挥，所有那个团战后或是团战后的。 处理都是由他指挥，就比如说算我们算对方用了什么大招，叫什么大招，还有几个大招，然后那个就是团战之间的这个就是没有这什么事情发生的时候是谁要去哪里站位这样子，然后其他的是比如说团战前的指挥，比如说我们这次要教什么，要去哪里要去抓谁的话，是由 RQT 指挥。
哦，所以会有2个角色，就是会互相分配工作。那你们一般在赛前的一些战术的一个制定，也就是由教练你跟其他2位 RQT 跟钢爸一起讨论吗？还是会全部的队员一起讨论？
主要这些战略跟分析的话，是由我钢爸跟 RQT 3个人做。
So the
然
three of
后
us make decisions
我们有
together
结论，
generally
我们
outside
有
the
了一
games.
些点子之后，会请大家一起来，然后我们再一起共同讨论。
We also
是，
get
那
the entire team
特别
together
要
to
问到
review
另外一
VODs
个问
and
题，就是说在最近的一个
theorize
状
and
况
talk together.
稍微有一点点小小的低潮。相较于第一周，其实你们打得非常轻松，坦白说就是一个7胜0败，而且对手最多就拿1分。你们对上是3-1对上闪电狼队，3-1也是对上 HQ， 打其实算是蛮轻松，可是到后面好像稍微有一点点辛苦。那再来就是说，我们会观察到最近的一个状况 ，Meta 132这个型是不是开始稍微有点弱势
So triple DPS meta is starting to fall off.
这些问题我让他发问还是好。So from the first week where we won 7-0 and most we've ever done like loss was like at 1 point, so 3-1, and recently we've been struggling. What do you have to say about that?
We think the teams figured us out at some point as we'd run the same things for a few weeks, and it was time to try something new, and we've been trying different stuff, and some of it has worked, some of it hasn't. And you get really good with the composition when you spend a long time playing it, and we haven't really necessarily found what we want to do for that long period of time. So we're looking to pick our composition now and sort of practice it leading into the playoffs.
他是表示说，就是从我们第一周开始的时候，就是其他队伍的后勤也对我们做分析，对我们也有了解，所以我们现在试着在变更一些事情，所以还是在做一些队员的一些职位的更动。我们做这些更动是为了接下来进入季后赛之后，有所改变。
是，那当然也想要问一下，就是现在已经开始有世界杯的一个委员会跟你们接触了吗？
So you're one of the World Cup committee
我是澳洲的委员会之一，然后我们现在跟其他另外2位委员也有在，也已经开始在做一些决定了。
对，那你比较倾向于就是一整队去，因为你们应该在澳洲来讲应该是战绩排名第1的队伍，还是会希望也挑一些其他队伍的选手。
我们目前战绩是第1，然后澳洲其实也有其他实力也不错的队伍，但是我们相较起来还是胜利筹。我是比较偏向于说。 毕竟就是不要论我身为这个队的教练的话，我还是想说，如果要送一个队伍去的话，还是会比较理想，因为毕竟有长期的默契、长期的配合，还是对于一个团队的一个构造的话，还是比较有利的。
最后一个问题，想要请刚把分享一下，就是他的一个怎么踏入职业的。 在澳洲，他接触 Overwatch 多久时间？那过去也是玩相同类型的游戏吗？那怎么会想要踏入职业
？So I was asking, what made you, how did you come to be like a professional Overwatch player, and if you played other games before?
So I started playing World of Warcraft like maybe a decade ago, and in that game you require a leader in a guild to kill bosses effectively, to do well in PvE encounters. And a lot of the players in Overwatch are really skilled, really mechanically good coming into the start of the game, and it was rarer to find people that were really good at leading others, and that's where I found my start, and it's also where RQD found his start, and that's why we do this kind of role in the team now. It's because shot calls are very rare, obviously.
他是表示说，差不多在10年前左右，他开始玩魔兽世界，然后在魔兽世界里面，如果你要去杀什么 BOSS 的话，是需要有一个工会，然后有一个组织。 然后这些组织也需要有领导人，也需要有人指挥。他是从那里开始有指挥的经验。然后他表示说，开始玩斗争特工的时候，就有遇到过很多比如说从别的游戏进来的选手，就实力很强，带兵实力很强，但是都缺乏有一个指挥。就有很多队伍也是缺乏这个指挥。然后他说，他就是这一段时间，他跟 RQT 发现说，他们有这个指挥的才能，然后才会现在在队伍也是担任这样的职位。
对，这个是一个很好的一个分享，也让我们很多一些观众都能够知道到底怎么进入到职业。也谢谢2位接受我们的访问，那么也希望你们在接下来比赛能够打得越来越好。这边跟观众说个拜拜，这边
谢谢大家，
拜拜。
Bye, Blank. Well, that was Blank. Interesting to get a few more in-depth thoughts, and actually, I think Gunbo has kind of answered some of our questions about what may have been going on with the team. Not sure how confident I feel that answer really explains everything away, but hey, maybe it's going to help us all sleep a little bit better at night. In any case, this has been a bit of a wild day, gentlemen.
It has been a very wild day, but at the end, we're now sitting, after all these matches, we can just look back and say, okay, the team that we thought was going to win actually did win each of these series today, so I can rest easy on those results.
One thing I'm going to look forward to is every team has had their home day now. We've had Machi, we have HQ, we've also had Flashels, but and also Detonator, can't forget them. But the next team coming up is going to be Fireball's home day, and they've up to a lot of shenanigans. Ooh. That's going to be week 8, day 1 on Friday, so should be good.
It's going to be spicy to be sure. Always a joy to see Fireball. But yeah, certainly expected results, but not always in the expected ways. But at any rate, that does wrap up week 7 for us. And wow, it's been a ride. We are past the halfway mark, gentlemen, of the tournament as a whole. Moving into week 8, we will kick it off with Fireball's day at home, but that is that for us for now. So thank you very much for tuning in to the official English broadcast of the Overwatch Pacific Championship. And from all of us here at the Full Circle production team, thank you for watching and have a wonderful night.